I was raised an Irish Catholic whose parents weren't fully practicing the faith. I was only in 7th grade when my dad left our family. When a fellow student made a nasty comment about my father leaving, I wanted to punch him, but I stuffed my anger and negative feelings deep down, and I started introducing alcohol and drugs into my life. I stayed on that path of self-destruction until I was 25 years old. At 25, I finally had a moment of clarity. I fell to my knees and asked God to help me stop drinking. A day or two later, an old drinking buddy I hadn't seen for over 5 years knocked at my door. He told me he was a member of a 12-step program and had been sober for about a year. I was nervous, but I went with him to the meeting just to check it out. After about 10 years of being sober, there was still something missing. I felt empty and confused. It was around this time that my wife and I separated. I explained to one of my friends that I was thinking about drinking again. He said, "What you need is a spiritual awakening." He brought me to a men's prayer group, and it filled me with shock and awe. There were businessmen, carpenters, truck drivers, all praying. I had never seen men pray before. But there they were, coming together to pray, offering petitions, and asking Mary for intervention in their lives. There was a fear of the unknown, but there was also an attractiveness and energy to it. So I started attending their meetings. About the same time, I was under a lot of stress at work. One long and difficult night, I walked out of the office and saw the full moon and remembered what someone had said at a prayer meeting, that the moon is a reflection and a symbol of Mary. So for the first time, I decided to pray a Hail Mary on my own. I just started going to the prayer meeting and hadn't prayed my own personal prayer at all yet, but I did that night. And when I went back into the office, I felt a little bit better. The next day, I did the same thing. I prayed 2 Hail Marys, and the next 3. Then I realized I might as well start praying the Rosary. Coming back to Mary over and over in my life began to work wonders, and it felt like things were starting to get better in my life. At these meetings, I got to know Mary, but I still wasn't diligent about going to Mass. I was told by a priest that it was my duty as a Catholic parent to give my son some type of religious training. So I signed him up for CCD classes, and the priest told me that I had to go to Mass with him every Sunday. So I did. My son became my sidekick. He was so instrumental in my returning to my faith. I've been part of the prayer meeting for over 30 years now, and I've been back in my faith for over 20. Due to the intervention of Mary and placing myself at her sacred feet on a daily basis. To think that my faith journey started with saying 1 Hail Mary still amazes me today. There are still pitfalls and treacherous terrain, but there is always a magnificent peak. God is always there for me, no matter what. Even if I do not go to Him, He comes to me. And the results have been beyond anything I could have possibly imagined.